have quorum. Honorable Member for Usinobuni will lead us in prayer.
Thank you. Almighty and our fellow Member of Parliament. I also pray that you will bless our opposition leaders and also the opposition members. Father, I pray for your wisdom, understanding, and knowledge to prevail in this house this afternoon, that together we may reason constructively regarding matters that are of national interest to our nation. With this said, Lord, may you take control of this floor, and everything that we discuss today will be to the good of our people that voted us in to serve them. With this said, Lord, may we pray the prayer that you have taught us. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come.
Give us this day our daily bread. Not into temptation, deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Amen. Honorable members, I acknowledge the presence in the public gallery of grade 2, 3, 4, and 5 students and their teachers from the Salem Baptist Christian Academy in the National Capital District. On behalf of the National Parliament, I extend them a warm welcome. Clerk, any petitions? Notices? Clerk?
The Minister for Justice and Attorney General gives notice that he shall present a proposed law to alter the organic law on Papua New Guinea's ownership of hydrocarbons and minerals and the consolidation and commercialization of Papua New Guinea's business and for related purposes. The Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology and Sports gives notice that he shall present a bill for an act, A, to provide for the establishment and incorporation of the Pacific Adventist University, and B, to repeal the Pacific Adventist University Act 1997 and for related purposes.
Honorable members, question time. The Leader of Opposition.
Deputy Speaker, thank you. My question without notice goes to the Honourable Prime Minister. Deputy Speaker, the Prime Minister has recently just announced a cabinet reshuffle. And from the outset, Deputy Speaker, whilst I have the floor, I would like to congratulate the ministers that have recently been appointed. Thank the Prime Minister for making the decision to appoint some new ministers, and also place on record our congratulations to the Honourable John Kalpa, and also our reservations and concern about the changes to the Coffee Ministry. On record, Deputy Speaker, the Honourable William Bando has been outstanding for the coffee industry. He has created a resurgence, and he has physically driven it in the highlands, especially in Eastern Highlands and Simbu. And this change in ministry really raises a lot of concerns for us, for the Prime Minister to take note, knowing that it is his absolute prerogative. Now, Deputy Speaker, my question without notice is in relation to the management principle of structure follows strategy. Now, with these recent changes, I myself, the opposition and the country would like to know what the Prime Minister aims to achieve with the changes in the recent ministerial changes to Cabinet, the new appointments, the reshuffle, and especially the changes to how planning, finance and treasury function. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we're a little bit concerned that removing the warranting function from treasury and allowing finance to be the sole department responsible for warranting and then for making payments, it offends our FATF reform agenda to get off the grey listing. That's the first thing. And then we're also concerned about what's happened to the state-owned enterprise. We've just sliced and diced the state-owned enterprise, give power to another minister. We've allowed commodity boards to be under the... And this creates a conflict of interest. So we want some clarity with respect to the changes that have affected SOE. So on that note, Deputy Speaker, we just want to know, consistent with first management principle of structure follows strategy, what the Prime Minister aimed to achieve with these changes, the Cabinet reshuffle and the new appointments. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I want to thank the opposition leader for asking a series of public interest questions. That's further clarified to give into context the reshuffle that has taken place. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we are 8 months from the issue of REITs 2027. The government came into office with a clear mandate, our focus on agriculture, our focus on enterprise, restoration, rehabilitation, our focus on efficient delivery services, and having worked in the 4 years under existing structures, taking time, we have the view that certain of these reforms are necessary, not to mention the reforms, especially in the two main sectors, the state-owned enterprise and the central government nerve center. And I will expand on this in a little while. But firstly, I want to thank the ministers who have served with me the last 4 years. It was an absolute honor and privilege to have worked with them. Unfortunately, some due to medical predicaments, some due to the electorate needs and requirements for their presence in the respective electorates, the attention to national call of duty was a little bit shortchanged, and so felt with 8 months left to go, it is not most of you, if not all of you, but it is the leading coalition and it is the government that will be exposed to outcomes as we stand in the face of scrutiny in 2027. So in the last leg leading to the elections, we felt that some of these changes in portfolio reallocations were necessary, as well as the two main structural changes. And I want to also in the same breath register my appreciation to two of our key ministers, Minister for State Enterprise, Minister Duma, who have more than 15 portfolios under him in the current KCH structure. And in as much as he's trying to attend to this work, the structure is convoluted. He sits right at the top of the structure chain. And you have the state-owned enterprises, you have the worker in a state-owned agency or enterprise, you have the second MD state enterprise, Then you have the board of that state-owned enterprise. And then the board then reports to another MD, it's the MD of KCH. Then you have the MD of KCH report to another. My brothers and sisters, this House has been complaining of power blackouts. And we are trying to address some of the short chains and the opposite beliefs in the current that is in place. Fair go, that's your policy platform you want to take to the elections. But it will be idiot of me to see the current structure not delivering to income, and with greatest respect to the minister responsible. 15 portfolios, by the time he comes around to the next one, events may have overtaken. So with greatest respect to the portfolio minister, as Prime Minister, I take wholly that decision that was made. It emanates straight from the Pangu Party Convention policy room that 7 of these changes must take place. Matters relating to efficiency of key essential service delivery. And so we have not, in this focus, diluted the role of KCH as a company. Kumul Consolidated Holding Limited as a company's role is preserved. But we are now removing the couple of layers. Reform is still on foot, underway, and this Parliament, if need be, to amend the law, we recommend for a change. The Minister for State and Enterprises remain as the Minister responsible for Kumul Consolidated Holdings Limited. But the Minister will also be responsible for the companies by him. Companies, for instance, in this case, it is not for use of medical word in terms of the sick, not carcinogenic, cancerous, stage 4 cancer. Something in PNG. Minister Duma has tried his best, but a structure that and it's been part of the process. So fellow another brother minister work with him on the side. He still has custody over the Kumul Consolidated Holding structure, but by Prime Minister's determination, the policy oversight, not the business structure, but the policy oversight, be lended to the new minister. He takes an arm's length view into what is happening in PNG Power. And so the minister now appointed to oversight PNG Power as a case in point has an arm's length and policy view, and the business structural view still relates to the minister responsible for KCH. So that is the intention. Just to remove some of the bottlenecks. As I said earlier again, you have the KCH structure. You got, the last I count was about 8 layers, if not 7 layers, where if a policy instruction goes down, it takes 8 layers to go down to the operational area, and it takes 8 layers to come back up to the final decision makers, whether it's at the boards, or eventually the 8th one is where cabinet sits, approving AOPs, or annual operating plans. So it is sort of in this vein that the reforms are made at KCH in the same spirit. The central government agencies, planning, treasury, and finance. Nothing against the 3 ministers. But a system with me long enough in Parliament would understand. Out of one, this was created. What used to be only finance ministry or department before, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, it became finance and planning, and later planning on its own. It became treasury and finance, and I think 10 years ago it became treasury on its own, finance on its own, and planning on its own. Now the 3 departments, these are central departments, instead of operating by nature of their own definitions, their wordings, planning to plan, finance to finance, and treasury to manage the economy. 3 of them have also functioned as printing checks for central government, running programs instead of departments, provinces, districts, or agencies running programs. The 3 have been caught in the quagmire of small picture and not the big picture. Planning, for instance, supposed to be only holding the medium-term plans and Vision 2050s. The Reset 2050 clearly sees, and not from James Marabe, but a pool of experts who were brought in, including NRI, including TI, headed by prominent sons of our country and daughters of our country. They felt that something drastic must take place in the central government. Planning is writing hundreds of checks, Treasury is writing checks, Finance writing checks. Sometimes we all get crushed in these three sectors. So we're trying to now distance. Planning, you don't get bogged down in writing checks. You hold the big plan of a country and measure submissions against the plan. You prepare a budget. Treasury, focus on revenue, focus on macroeconomy. Disbursement through the budget management committee process that sits every week. Treasury's role as chair of the budget management committee still remains. Every week they chair this, they give up authority to finance. This is the quantum of the expenditure, this is the spend, this is the ceiling. It is within budget. The budget management committee is staffed or filled by Secretary Planning, Secretary Treasury, Secretary Finance. They meet every Tuesday, 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Sometimes I drop into those meetings. Most times Treasurer chairs. So that work of Treasury to control the lead in priority expenditure remains as an oversight. The warranting function is really a cash management tool. So we've now brought back warranting function. Earlier it used to be with Treasury Secretary. Treasury Secretary is now brought back to Finance Secretary, again based on recommendation by the Reset 50 people. They said this is an important tool to make sure we don't overcommit. What is in the till, what is in the Wagening public accounts, matched with what is budgeted for, then only one point of reference in as far as cash transaction. So easy for accounting. Easy for us to monitor, follow. Whoever's in the wrong, easy to catch up with the wrongdoer. So those were streamlined in the interest of where we are today. We hope that these streamlines increase efficiency in central government so that whoever comes into government in 2027 settle into a structure that is saving for service delivery and support in an expeditious manner without compromising good governance and allowing for the process to run. I want to also indicate that National Monitoring Authority is not to usurp the role of national planning. National planning has custody of the medium-term plans and all sector plans. NMCA is not to, again, run around with heap of public servants to do monitoring job. They are to engage reputable, recognized accounting firm and engineering firm to check on funds disbursed. I want to indicate through this good question, over half of department heads have not reported. Just on funds, but what tomorrow I'll be asking all of them to leave their offices. You kissing money, you must report. One of you working, report the size of the money you kiss. We've had a culture of no report and just work and ask. So sometimes at our 50th, and these are work done by the 50th Reset Committee. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sometimes we have to take the bull by the horn as we try to go into the 50th. Nothing against personalities, but to finding a structure that allows for work to happen at the earliest. All of us get saved by whether it's KCH structures, or central government structures, or the portfolio ministers. The ministers have been informed that you all must deliver. But the question on coffee minister, well, equally qualified minister in the current transport minister has been packed the coffee portfolio with him. Now you ask me what's the rationale? I tell you, it's easier to buy coffee on the roads that are currently running. But coffee from Karamui, coffee from Marawaka, coffee from Kabum, Coffee in remote areas come in by a mode of transportation. So with the transport portfolio, parking with freight support, we want to at the early years get our people their coffee uplifted from remotest parts of our country to come into. The former minister, I thank him. He did a good job in the coffee sector. He was the second minister for coffee. And I'm 100% certain he will do a very good job, and following on from Deputy Prime Minister's job at the immigration, a lot of work that needs to be done. He has an ability to work in this space. He did a good job. He laid the foundation for coffee to move, and I will work with him. He will also be asked to deploy his continued service in the coffee sector, so what he started does not fade away. I will support the new minister to do this job. There are rationales in those appointments, and I want to thank in closing those who served in previous capacities and the current new ministers coming in. I will work. I've told all of them that in the next 8 months I will abandon my diplomacy in allowing the ministers to work. I'll work through the ministers. I'll also be checking on department heads, because we want to progress some of these things that need to progress at least up to 2027 before the elections. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hope this is sufficient.
We have a supplementary. Governor for ECPIC.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. My supplementary is in relation to these changes to Treasury and Finance. My first question to the Prime Minister is that, is he aware that these were part of the reforms that the Makerere government brought in after the 1999 financial crisis that the country went through? And as a result, the reforms that Makerere brought in, both on the central bank and in splitting up these various departments, was to achieve stability. And I note also that this government has dismantled a lot of the Makerere-Murata work around the independence of the central bank. And now you've done the same to the separation between Treasury and Finance. And my other question is that, did Cabinet visit the 2002 report, part of the reforms that the Makerere government implemented, to understand why it had to do the things it did to restore the financial system of the country? That's my second question. My third question is a lot simpler. If Mr. Cabinet wanted to undo the Makerere reforms, the easiest thing to do would be Treasury and Finance, so you can sack one of your ministers and have one minister less, and you would have one minister in charge of Treasury and Finance like we did prior to 2002. And to correct the Prime Minister, that was 24 years ago and not 10 years ago. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I thank the Leonard Governor of ECPIC for his series of questions, or 3 questions. Firstly, on his assessment that central bank's independence has been eroded or diminished, that's far from the truth. We rather entrench and augment that independence of central bank. The Treasurer has no unilateral power. Neither does Prime Minister have unilateral power to impinge on the operation of central bank and direction on monetary policy of the central bank. Central bank remains totally independent. What we've done is to entrench that independence. We've set up a board of eminent Papua New Guineans to work with central bank, making sure that central bank, instead of a governor operating all and behold to themselves, a board then sits and works with the central bank governor. So there's an octagonous oversight by a body of people instead of one person reporting to him or herself. In any case, that was the way it was arranged. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, I've been around long enough to know something in 1 and 1. So it's a safety is found in the in the council of many. Instead of having one central bank governor and one head of a government, whether through ministry or a prime minister, meeting and convergence of key monetary policy matters, we now have set up a board that the central bank governor reports to. So, far from the assertion that we eroded central bank, rather we entrenched central bank independence. The governor now has to report to a board of credible office holders, etc., who stake up the central bank board. So that's an added layer of scrutiny this administration put on top of the good reforms that Mekere has done in his term in office. On the issue on the also assertion that the structure of one minister in finance and treasury was a good structure, maybe then yes. When the time late Mekere made those reforms, the economy of our country was still under 17 billion kina. The workload then was lighter. 96 districts today, 21 provinces, a special autonomous government, many departments, 10 million people plus. All variables point towards an increased workload today. You cannot congest one minister stuck in many functions. The way we're structuring now, Treasury just remains as a macro policy holder. Collect revenue, work on revenue space. Finance just focus on expenditure space. Planning focus on the big planning. All of us bring projects to the planning department. Is it hitting the target in as far as LTDP 4 is concerned in this current plan term? Or is it hitting the long-range target? Governor, you were part of the Vision 2015, 2010. You don't want somebody to be throwing in targets outside of Vision 2050. So we're just streamlining so that we're all doing things in tandem and progressively hitting the mark in as far as development is concerned. All of us have been long enough to see what happens in planning, what happens in finance and treasury. Sometimes we get caught up in not knowing who's doing what, so we're trying to clarify the roles. One fact we're doing in this reform is by treasury and planning. You could run your own department checks, but major government programs, finance coordinates and go straight to department, go straight to districts or provinces. So that's the intention of this reform. Workload has increased. We're not in 2001. Population increase, demand increase, government agency increase, demands relook. And I want to give assurance to the country. This is not James Marape concocting this from somewhere else. The Reset 50 team, again I repeat, it's in the Reset 50 you got NRI inside. NRI has got deep memory about the country than Governor Bed, you or myself. NRI in that Reset 50. You got CIMC in that Reset 50. You got other eminent sons of our country in that Reset 50 team and daughters. They felt at 20, 25, 26 and going forward, the central government agency must be structured in this manner, KCS must be structured in this manner, and other sectors. So based on those recommendations, we are getting to work. I'm very happy to relate to all of you the findings of Reset 50 for you all to have a read on where those 36 and recommendations has come out from. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Governor from Morobe.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Thank you, Luxalo, people of Morobe. Before I raise my question without notice to, I think the Police Minister is not here. I'll raise my question without notice to the Prime Minister. And then AG and Police Minister can take note. But Mr. Deputy Speaker, before me raising a question without notice, me like to thank you, Law, for Faipla. Our leader was stepped aside from cabinet positions, very strong decisions. It's hard to choose among equals. And Prime Minister's prerogative blame as Prime Minister of the raise its feet, make those very hard decisions. Those members bring incredible wealth experience as well, and their aspirations for districts blown. So member Blorai cause member Blo Gumini too, a very fine, strong leader who step aside for our new cabinet ministers to come on board. We commend him work for the cabinet and their contributions to this nation. Mr. Speaker, me to congratulate him all. New Prime Minister will come on board today. Leader Blong PPP, Mansa Siran close to me, now you're not seen on anymore. We congratulate him you as new party leader. Na party blimilo PPP, you come on board. Recognition from Prime Minister as long party. Mipla too, Mr. Deputy Speaker, wampla members nompla kisim ministry. We do thank you from Prime Minister Pangu Coalition. Now Narpla was a member of Lokapa where comes in down. Former member, I'm step aside, I was there. I'm step aside, Lola Remunar Prime Minister come now has been brought in. We commend him all people below Okapa as well as Kerwagi, on the strong Ploman come kisim walk, the one walk, Blomiblo Simbu, Simbu Olim na Simbu Kisimbek. Thank you, Prime Minister. Lodisla, one them Larpla colleague leaders, and prerogative long, Prime Minister. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Prime Minister, my question without notice would have been to the Police Minister. Today, Deputy Speaker, I look him law and order inside the country, now I'm go west. Very west, to the degree where when you drive outside and you just have a small accident, the chances of you getting ransacked in the vehicle is 99.9%. And along the island highway, you may look him, time will truck put down. This will pass him before well, man sa look at him truck, you come kiss him cargo, blue him no gat. The day it capsized, imaging and checking you. And well, recent video articles in suburbs in Mosby, you look him, people are looting vehicles. This is a symptom of a very degrading society, Mr. Deputy Speaker, something that we should be very concerned about. My question without notice, Mr. Speaker, I was in Cabinet when we made the decisions to set aside and remove the death penalty when it was there. And some of us in Cabinet argued that it should have been left there as a form of deterrence for our people. My first question is, what is our position now that we have now changed? And I'm thankful that we brought on board the Vacancy Act. Now, are we looking at bringing back the death penalty for any crimes that people commit in this country? Because it's going far and beyond to a level that we cannot control. So my question is, maybe to the Police Minister and AG, but through PM, Iga thinking lo yumi karim death penalty come back or not, given that the degree of lawlessness continues to increase. Number two, Mr. Speaker, there are many arguments as to why even if death penalty come back. Life is precious. We're a Christian country. We've just declared ourselves, a Christian nation. We got Bible stuff. I know good lo kill him man, I'm sin. But there are many Mr. Kankin sin stuff the Bible to no rule blood judging on blessing. No sin I'm sin. Given that we place ourselves as a Christian nation as well, are we going to open up the discussion for death penalty to be placed on the board again for us to discuss, Mr. Speaker? And I leave with this one statement that one economist can talk. One doctor can kill him, one man in his one lifetime. One engineer can destroy one bridge in his one lifetime. But a politician can kill an entire country. And that's something for us to consider. So, Mr. Speaker, through you, Mr. Prime Minister, does government have an appetite for us to bring on board again, for us to look at the death penalty, given what is happening in the country? Thank you.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, Deputy Speaker, me thank you long Governor Blomorobe, will raise him in question. This Parliament, I think under this administration, we did remove the death penalty some years back. On the evidence, globally speaking, that death penalty in itself is not a deterrent for those who engage in crime, whether it's opportunistic crime or planned crimes. But the fact is that lawlessness is a major concern. I will get the police commissioner to present statistics on what, under his words, he has done. Ministers has come and gone. It is only two of us, the police commissioner and myself, have been present right through since 2018. This parliament is entitled to know what has happened since from 2019 when we've been in office. And if statistics demand that we relook at this sort of policy, then we could certainly relook at this again. But again, at the upside, when we were making changes, global studies have indicated that death penalty is not an efficient deterrent. Suffice to say, it can be, but the fact of the matter is that the police capacity when we took office in 2018 or 2019 was still not effectively prosecuting those that have been arrested. So work has taken place in the police sector. We've now gone back on a recruitment drive. There's a substantial investment in Bomana Training College, thankfully to our security partners in Australia government and others who assist. So Bomana College is now taking up recruitment, police capacity being stepped up. We're twinning with security arrangement with Australia, not just on the defense matter, but police also. We want arrest, and not just arrest, but prosecution of the arrest to be successful. And I'll get those relevant statistics from, as far as police is concerned. We'll make a statement to the House in response to this question. And again, death penalty not, we want here, if the collective wisdom of this Parliament compels that this is looked at, many avenues exist. If government cannot sponsor this, then a private member's bill is equally sufficient path to bring these matters before Parliament's consideration. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Deputy Opposition Leader.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, my question without notice this afternoon is directed at the Honourable Prime Minister also, which is Chairman of the NEC. Deputy Speaker, on the 3rd of June 2026, I stood in this House and tabled a petition on behalf of the plant site landowners in relation to their interests, or rather a decision, NEC decision number 64 of 2026, pertaining to the Croton Equity Option Special Purpose Vehicle. And on the 26th of June, I coursed a letter to the Prime Minister, which letter was also hand-delivered and received on the 6th of July 2026. Deputy Speaker, to this day, no response of any kind has been received. My question is, Deputy Speaker, will the Prime Minister advise this House whether the National Executive Council has considered the request of the plant site landowners and the Central Province beneficiaries in relation to the 13.5% of its 4.27%? And what is the status of the independent valuation and audit directed under the NEC decision number 64 of 2026? Who has been appointed to conduct it? And when will its findings be tabled in this House? Has the interim KEO SPV board been operationalized? And has any transfer of the Croton equity occurred or been scheduled? Third, will the Prime Minister give an undertaking to this House that no transfer of the Croton equity and no final step to operationalize the interim board will be completed until the position of the plant site landowners and the Central Province beneficiaries has been settled, so that any oversight in the original structure is corrected cleanly now, rather than unwound later at cost to the state? And finally, will the Prime Minister direct that the beneficiaries' mandated representatives and the member for Hirikwari be included in the structuring discussions? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right. Speaker, a busy day at the office, all questions directed to me, and I take it as my job and duty to respond. I thank the member for asking a question following up to his earlier questions and a letter made on the equity. Firstly, I want to say yet been deterred. Cabinet has already made this decision. It's a work in progress. And Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited and government and the respective Minister of State Enterprise in carriage of this work. I want to give full assurance to Central Province landowners, especially Coastal Bay landowners, and Central Province in all in all, as well as all the other provinces. This will be done in isolation. The leaders, as defined under the organic law and provincial and local level governments, are being consulted. And in the first instance, those are provincial governors. They have been consulted. We've had a first meeting. Central Province was represented by Central Province Governor. And I put it to them expressly that provincial executive councils decide what is good for the province, and you write back to us. And so my response to this simply would be that these are matters now in the custody of Central Provincial Government. The Central Provincial Government Executive Council would have met. The Central Provincial Government Assembly would have discussed, and your choice, whether you want it to be part of a structure or you want it to be completely on its own, there will be no dilution whatsoever in the total stake you have. The total stake is already agreed in the Kokopo UBSA. There will be no dilution of your stake to other beneficiary parties. For the interest of perpetual sustainability, and I have a paper I will present after this on MRDC, on clearest evidence of perpetual success by lumping all benefits together instead of spreading them out thinly. So I did indicate to the governors who were present, you have a choice of a structure that is unified where your presence is on the board, including an amendment to the cabinet decision where we had Central and Gulf and Western. We said, no, you are permanently part of the new structure. Mind you, to the people of the 5 provinces, 4.27% ownership of a de-risk PNG LNG is a premium asset. So you can take it and you can spend it every year, up to you if you want to do that. Or if you want to lump it properly, keep it in a structure that earns perpetual wealth, just like MRDC is. MRDC, in a report that is coming up, just from 2% earnings in the last 10 or 15 years, they've grown it from 500 million kina company to a 14 billion kina plus company. This one is 4.27% of a de-risk project. And so I've given the task back to governors of the respective provinces, and the Honourable Member for Irikwari. You are in Central Provincial Assembly. It is in your interest to work with the Central Provincial Governor, her PEC, and indicate to us at the earliest what path you choose to walk. You want to take it on your own, we could take it out and pass it to you. No problem. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for North Fly.
Deputy Speaker, thank you for giving me opportunity. I wish to seek leave of you, Chair, to ask a question to you.
Ask your question.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Before me ask a question, let me go to you. Very simple. I have a incident back in my electorate a week ago. Constant accidents of drunk driving caused by nuisance people, only money, only causing law and order. Now, plenty accident come up now, even got plenty unrest. Close to town Blomi Lokiunga, even got big chaos. Now, policeman over the line, he outnumbered simply because there was no control. Now, ask him Blomi, me like exercise him some power. He go long, control him old man. He come inside long district lobby because some man only stop nothing, only not making one walk, only street number, plenty only migrate come down lo Tabubil where eviction he come up. Now only come pull up straight lo Kiunga. Now most of them are just doing nothing. So ask him also, me like exercising, this like vagrancy act, me pass it lo here. Time me ask him lo exercise him this plan lo rosim all money go. Only talk also. Time me ask him, this law is not ready yet. Ask him, Lomigo, you. Please, one time this law by ready, so we can exercise it. Thank you.
Honorable Member for North Fly, your question is taken into consideration. Parliament will respond to you tomorrow on the question. The Honorable Member for Sinasina Yangumun.
Yes, last question. Golo Attorney General. Milakim Attorney General correct him one bla talk Secretary blame walking I Karangi Liglo he oblo plandi blo mi bla. Backlo 2014 Cabinet working decision also the first 7 village court magistrates' salaries and wages will be paid by his department. The first 7, because in some village courts you have up to 11 plus magistrates. So lo same NEC decision all talk. First 7 village court magistrate, Attorney General Department by more fortnight. Anything above 7 and by district by one district where court district where village court sit down them by you by. So for example, lo district Blomi Sampla village court got 11. So 7 Department of Justice by na for since 2014 come now 4 pla mi pla by lo district. That's the way it's been. Now recently no him now. But there's already a decision. Now, when we formulate our budgets, district budget every year, we formulate it on that framework basis. That we pay for 4, now Department of Justice by first 7. Anything above 7, we pla by. So, me feeling also mem Karangi law, Secretary Togolsem, contrary to the NEC decision of 2014. This is the time me Attorney General yet. So, meeting also in this land wrong now. In a Attorney General look all of this pla. Now make sure that the department blame continue law paying all the village court magistrates, bringing payroll up to date now, continue law paying future salaries. By the same token, Minusa was responsible all councillors. Councillors blame me countrywide. All you know, being same decision to councillors 2 by same fortnight, peace mediators by same fortnight, land mediators by same fortnight. Lo same NEC decision. All get this line lo base level blow you me lo house line. All work governments all must same pay fortnightly. Now government is through that NEC decision. So now talks our ikam all council in pay long plat time. So in a Attorney General suppose this like stop and in it lemon, no got them stable minister of provincial local government council mino clear but one pablo to blah. Me asking through the Attorney General. Lo make sure that all bring him wages blow village court magistrates, peace mediators, land mediators, councillors up to date, and then at the same time make sure that all future wages and salaries blow too up to date. Thank you.
The Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, our Deputy Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Member Blongsina Sina Yongumuli asking a good luck question. This is question Olman Mary Long inside Long Papua New Guinea. Only like Larim answer Blongeno and in something that was straight. So Larim me go look na why all no pay payment all no come but me give some good report na actual story situation na advise the Parliament or inform the Parliament. Thank you. Place some notice and I will answer then.
Thank you. Honourable members, question time slips. Papers. Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to statute, I present 2024 financial statements of the Mineral Resource Development Corporation. Mr. Speaker, I now ask leave of Parliament to make a statement in connection with this report.
Is leave granted? Make your speech, Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, I rise to present to this Honourable House the audited financial account of the Mineral Resource Development Company for the year 2024. The tabling of these audited accounts is following applicable laws. Mr. Speaker, for the record, MRDC manages 22 companies, 15 subsidiaries holding participating interest in resource projects, and 7 wholly owned investment companies. So it is quite a task to carry out audits of the group's books. As such, it is very commendable that they have worked diligently to bring their books up to date. As I speak, audit work of the 2025 accounts has been completed, with the accounts now awaiting shareholder sign-off and awaiting Cabinet's scrutiny before it comes to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, MRDC today is a very successful state-owned company with a proud history of nation building. Our country celebrated 50 years of nationhood. In fact, we're journeying through our 50th year. We are littered with many bad news and bad stories and bad examples. But I want to say that MRDC's story is a story of resilience and shows that we can do too, we can grow through. As our nation celebrates 50th anniversary, the company itself celebrated 50th anniversary as a company last year. MRDC was established in 1975, thankfully to the wisdom of the fathers of our country. Initially as an exploration company, it partnered with Kennecott Mining to explore for minerals in the Star Mountains of Western Province. After Kennecott left, BHP took over and was granted the license to mine at Oktedi. MRDC's role was subsequently changed to that of a nominee company to hold state equity interests, including provincial governments and landowners in mining and petroleum projects. Over the years, further reforms resulted in state equity interests being sold or transferred to other state nominated entities. The great late Mekere Murata, under his time, for instance, a blue chip company called Oregon emerged. Some of MRDC shares were subsumed, and Oregon was also folded. And so I want to state this on record. It's not part of my speech. To give some historical context. By 2007, the last of state asset, labeled Edda Oil, was transferred out, leaving MRDC with only the project interests and benefits of landowners and respective host provincial governments to manage. Today, MRDC manages equity interests in the oil fields of Kutubu, Moran, and Gobe, the PLC project, the Oktedi mine, the Pogra mine, and Ramu Nickel mining projects. Just 2%, not 4.27% as we discussed earlier. Just 2% in all these projects, money meant for landowners. MRDC also manages commercial ventures in the non-resource sector that landowners either own outright or in them as they diversify their investments. Mr. Speaker, for MRDC as a state-owned company to provide its audited financial statements to its shareholder. Although the Office of Prime Minister is a trustee shareholder for and on behalf of the state, it is only proper that the company's annual reports and audited financial statements be provided to the people. So all over this company. I am assured that for effective good governance, MRDC will continue this important self-reporting practice going forward, and as I said earlier, 2025 report will come before this House at the very earliest. MRDC subsidiaries as corporate trustees are required under each of their trust deeds to provide the audited financial statements to the minister responsible for the administration of the Oil and Gas Act. The management, with the support of MRDC board, initiated a robust audit program that started in 2018. However, the schedule of this program was significantly impacted following the onset of 2019 COVID-19 pandemic. The following 2 years was effectively lost due to impacts of the pandemic. Other factors contributed to the delay in the completion and certification of the audits, including technical accounting issues raised by the auditors, as well as resource constraints faced by the external audit firm. In 2024, MRDC revised and implemented a more aggressive audit schedule, diligently working with external accountants and auditors to expedite the progress of the audit processes whilst ensuring integrity and compliance. The audits for MRDC Group were carried out by the Big Four audit firms in our country in accordance with international accounting standards. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to report that the audits of MRDC and its subsidiaries have been completed up to 2024, as I speak, up to 2025. A significant achievement is that the audits of MRDC Group for periods 2020 to 2024 are all unqualified, meaning that the accounts are in order, proper records have been maintained, and there are no material issues within the stated financials. All approved and signed annual reports and associated financial statements have been lodged with the register of companies as is required under the Companies Act. Mr. Speaker, in recent years, MRDC has been undertaking a process to identify and implement reforms to its ownerships, governance, and management structures. Consultations of these reforms began in 2017 with views sought from important stakeholders in the industry, including landowners. One significant achievement to date in this process has been the enactment of the Mineral Resource Development Company Limited Authorization Act 2020. The MRDC Authorization Act under Phase 1 of the corporate restructure has been complete. The MRDC Authorization Act affects several important reforms, effected several important reforms to the structure of MRDC. This includes establishing a clear legislated basis for the ownership of shares in MRDC by PNG State. Second, enhancing the board's responsibility for direction, management, and supervision of the company in relation to attainment of the objectives of the company. Number three, setting out the roles and responsibilities for MRDC as the registered shareholder of its subsidiary companies and clarifying that the funds and assets that were managed by MRDC were not public funds or public assets, but were trust funds and assets specially for the benefit of identified project area landowners, and should I add, provincial governments. MRDC is now embarking on Phase 2 of the corporate restructuring, which involves additional reforms focused on improving business efficiency and effectiveness, whilst at the same time strengthening the governance and improving transparency and accountability. We propose some reforms. The reforms are intended to improve the management of interest and assets, as well as to enable the efficient or timely flow of capital for investment and distribution processes or purposes. The anticipated reforms are as follows, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Under the existing statutory framework, MRDC performs two distinct roles. First, to act as registered shareholder of its subsidiary companies, which are the corporate trustees that own the participating interest in mining and petroleum projects, as well as other assets acquired under long-term investment trusts. This role involves the performance of the shareholders' rights under the Companies Act, such as the appointment and removal of directors and approval of major transactions, etc. Secondly, to act as the corporate manager managing the participating interest in resource projects as well as assets including funds and property, providing investment advice and the development of basic but necessary social sector infrastructure in project licensed area for the project area landowners. Mr. Deputy Speaker, these two roles need to be segregated in different person for governance and business efficiency reasons. There are currently more than 22 companies wherein MRDC is both the registered shareholder and the corporate manager. MRDC also has management oversight over a few investment companies in the energy, aviation, and business tourism sectors that are owned by its subsidiaries. The current shareholding and management arrangement creates governance risk when a single entity performs both functions. Therefore, statutory reform is necessary to increase efficiencies in the provision of management services, whilst at the same time enhancing governance by segregating the two roles or functions, as well as establishing clear reporting lines between MRDC as the registered shareholder and the corporate trustee of Landowner Resources Trust and corporate manager. Mr. Speaker, the state recognizes MRDC's expertise in not only managing resource benefits, but more importantly, diversifying into non-resource sector benefit streams and growing the wealth for project area landowners. When all project-derived benefits are kept under a single entity, there is an economy of scale in relation to investment strategy, as well as the cost of management which can be shared. That, Mr. Deputy Speaker, goes to my earlier point on the 4.27% partial. In contrast, if the benefits of one group of project area landowners are managed by completely different entities, then the amount or quantum of the benefits can be paid out will be significantly reduced because of the management cost. Furthermore, investment capital will be limited. MRDC has demonstrated capacity and record of diligently managing the benefits derived from petroleum and mining projects which are granted to the project area landowners. Therefore, it would be appropriate to ensure that all resource sector benefits are consolidated under landowner trusts that are managed by MRDC, as is this proposal. Allowing for all project-related benefits to be held and managed under one investment vehicle is, as is the case today, allows for consolidated investment strategies that will improve the socio-economic indicators of the project area landowners, as well as directly impact the domestic economy by contributing to creation of jobs, increased tax revenue for the government, and of course, growing the GDP of our economy. Mr. Speaker, in closing, I want to take this opportunity to commend the board and management of MRDC for this remarkable job they have done thus far. In the last, in growing the assets they manage, the 2024 accounts, as you can read through them, show a total value of group assets that has grown to 14.5 billion from a 500 million kina group asset in 2007. Who says PNG cannot have success story? This is possibly amongst the biggest success story we have in a country where landowner group of funds have grown from a 500 million kina company 2007 to right now at 5 billion. In 2025 report will on 1 year. The consolidated business assets in place. That's an extraordinary achievement in less than 20 years, similar to what is taking place in NASFAN and Namban Super. If you combine NASFAN, Namban Super, and MRDC, these three sustainable bases of wealth for intergenerational wealth creation our country has thus far. And great commendation to those who have served as board in MRDC the last 20 years. I want to pay special mention to someone, the current managing director. In 2008, he was brought in as managing director. Augustin Mano, he has been constant till today to see this company grow to a 14.5 billion kina company. This is extraordinary. The future looks good. This company, for the record, owns 15% of BHP, owns 33% of PIH, owns 80% plus of Airlines PNG. A few years back, Airlines PNG was being liquidated. MRDC pick it up, run it. Today, they have a 3% cancellation rate in our country, buying new planes as we speak. Today, their on time is 85%. They're making money, they're saving more. I just give you one example. Air Niugini's a week, 6 years, 7 years ago. Today I got 4 Air Niugini and 5 times a week airlines PNG coming in, new flights coming in. It's business that is growing. MRDC owns Hilton Hotel. Hilton coming up in Kikori. I visited Kikori long ago. Hilton Kikori is going to be open soon. Investing Lenona money, Hilton to be open soon. Hilton Tari is going to be open soon, putting their own money back to where they come from. Who says Hilton? You also have ownership of Pearl Hotel in Pacific Harbor in Fiji. You also have Tamasina Hotel in Apia in Samoa. It is a company that is truly growing. We will ensure that the reports come in like this, and this is the first time this is audited. Unaudited financials have come to the People's House. I encourage all of you to pick a copy of this, read through, and contribute where you can. And I look forward to also bring the 2025 annual report into Parliament so that you can know not all is bad. There's some people working very hard to grow the base for our country in as far as this is concerned. By the way, MRDC owns 50% of the Pasca oil and gas project in Gulf of Papua. So this is Lenona's fund being put into investment project, in mining projects, in airlines project, in hospital project, in hotels project, truly diversifying. They're looking now also to move to Kokopo. Member for Kokopo, I want to thank you for your leadership and governor to make sure they work to partner East New Britain Development Limited to pick up investment in Kokopo, East New Britain also as part of the country and as far as supporting provincial governments and other landowners. And I commend this House.
Leader of Government Business.
As the Speaker, I also rise to add to debate. In the midst of many negativities around in our country, this is a very heartwarming report. As the Speaker, I rise to support this presentation of this 2024 audited financial statement of the Mineral Resource Development Limited.
Honourable Minister, you would move to take note of the paper presented by Prime Minister, and then you can make your speech.
As the Speaker, I move to take note of the paper and wish to debate.
Make your speech.
Support the presentation of the 2024 audit statement of the Mineral Resource Development Company Limited, MRDC. At the outset, I congratulate the Prime Minister, the MRDC Board and management, whose dedication has ensured that these accounts are brought before this Honourable House in accordance with the law. I particularly commend the achievement of bringing all audits up to date and securing unqualified audit opinions for years 2020 and 2024 financial years. That is no small accomplishment, Mr. Speaker. In today's world, where confidence in institutions is increasingly measured by transparency, accountability, and compliance, MRDC has demonstrated that Papua New Guinea is capable of producing institutions that meet international accepted standards of governance. This report is therefore much more than a financial statement, Mr. Speaker. It is a statement of institutional maturity. It is a statement of discipline. Most importantly, it is a statement that PNG can produce companies that perform at a global standard, Mr. Speaker. Too often we measure ourselves against our challenges. Today, we should measure ourselves against our achievements. MRDC is not simply another state-owned enterprise. It is one of PNG's greatest corporate success stories, Mr. Speaker. Established 50 years ago, the company has transformed itself from a nominee entity into one of the nation's largest indigenous investment institutions.
Honorable Member for Miduramo, what's your point of order?
Sorry, me interrupt him, Minister. Can I address him, Chair, or some the acting speaker or deputy speaker? Thank you. Let me call him assistant speaker, so me address him. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Miduramo, your point of order is in order. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Kamdaru. As I stated earlier, the figures themselves speak loudly. From approximately 500 million in assets in 2007, MRDC has grown to 14.5 billion in 2024. That is a significant increase. That is a significant confidence. Very few indigenous corporations anywhere in the Pacific have achieved growth of this magnitude while maintaining sound governance, management, and internationally recognized auditing standards, Deputy Speaker. That deserves recognition from this Parliament, from this indigenous House. Mr. Deputy Speaker, there is an important lesson for our country. Natural resources alone do not create wealth. Good governance creates wealth. Professional management creates wealth. Transparency creates investor confidence. Accountability protects public trust. And visionary leadership, such as the current CEO that we have, Augustine Mano, creates institutions that cultivate individuals. This is precisely what we should be celebrating as we are celebrating 50 years of our nation still within this year of 2026. MRDC demonstrates that indigenous Papua New Guinean institutions are fully capable of competing alongside the best investment companies in our region when they are governed well, Deputy Speaker. I particularly welcome the proposed governance reforms outlined in this report. The separation of the shareholder function from the management reflects practice adopted by successful corporations throughout the world, Deputy Speaker. Strong institutions require clear separation of powers. Good governance is never accidental. It is designed, it is legalized, it is practiced every day throughout disciplined leadership. These reforms will further strengthen confidence in MRDC as a trusted custodian of the wealth entrusted to it. Deputy Speaker, this debate should also challenge us to change the narrative about Papua New Guinea. Far too often, institutional headlines focus on our problems. Today, we have an opportunity to highlight one of our greatest country's success. MRDC is evidence that Papua New Guinea possesses the intellectual capability, professional expertise, and corporate leadership necessary to build world-class institutions, Deputy Speaker. This company is a lighthouse of indigenous success. It demonstrates what is possible when local leadership combined with sound governance, commercial discipline, and long-term strategic thinking. It proves that Papua New Guinea can manage complex investment portfolios worth billions of kina while meeting international accounting and auditing standards, Deputy Speaker. That should inspire confidence not only among our people, but also among investors around the world. Deputy Speaker, as Parliament considers the future of our economy, institutions such as MRDC must become examples for others to follow. We should aspire to build indigenous companies that are professionally governed, globally respected, and commercially successful. Companies that create wealth responsibly. Companies that invest for future generations. And companies that earn the confidence of international partners while remaining proudly Papua New Guinean. Deputy Speaker, success should never make us complacent. Good governance is a journey and not a destination. The pursuit of excellence must continue. Transparency must continue. Independent oversight must continue. Professionalism must continue. Because reputation is built over decades but cannot be lost overnight, Deputy Speaker. And finally, Deputy Speaker, I congratulate every past and present Chief Executive Officer, Executive Manager, and employees who have contributed to the growth of this remarkable institution over the past 50 years. Their work has produced far more than financial returns, Deputy Speaker. They have exceptionally demonstrated that an indigenous Papua New Guinean company can be governed with integrity, perform with excellence, and stand confidently alongside respected investment institutions anywhere in the world, Deputy Speaker. May MRDC continue to be a beacon of corporate excellence, a symbol of what good governance can achieve, and a lighthouse of our indigenous success in Papua New Guinea and the Pacific. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I commend the report to the House.
The Honourable Governor for NCD.
Deputy Speaker, thank you for giving me time on behalf of our people in the city to contribute to this debate. From the outset, I want to commend the Prime Minister for bringing this report, the financial statement for 2024 to Parliament for us to have some, idea and have a little speak into the work of the MRDC. In my 19 years being a member of Parliament, I'm not sure about, all these 19 years, but I believe this is the first time, for me at least, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that this report from MRDC has been brought to Parliament. And I've been thinking for a long time, when are we going to have a scrutiny over this very important organization, state-owned enterprise that is responsible for the, funds that belong to landowners and provincial governments. They have a board, they have management, and maybe they report to the landowners. Some of us are from areas where we don't have oil, gas, and so on. But equally, we have an interest in what this state enterprise or state-owned company has been doing on behalf of our landowners. So I want to firstly thank Prime Minister for bringing this report. I believe for me, I can speak for only myself. First time this report comes, so Myanmar also at least this very important organization that manages funds on behalf of our people is bringing a report to Parliament, so you can scrutinize him on behalf of our people, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Especially, you probably remember you may come along a resource area, oil, gas, petroleum, oil and gas, especially, and minerals as well. Minerals, oil and gas. You need to scrutinize him. Maybe in your own process, you will scrutinize him already and you all are happy and satisfied. But at least now, Prime Minister, Myanmar also you bring him, now you can look him and scale him. I think, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I think outside Lomia, speaking on behalf of the city, maybe Ammas long work long MRDC. You may not have a good long some, all the, specifics, the kind of thing, but looking at the developments that are taking place, like especially Hilton with Star Mountains, Development Corporation or Star Mountain Mineral Resources, sorry. On behalf of our people in Star Mountains, they are doing a big investment in our city, creating a lot of opportunities, services for our people too. Mr. Deputy Speaker, they plan to go 6 stage or 6, parts of this development. So it's going to be a major development in the city. So on behalf of the city, I must work along MRDC. They are really investing, and most welcome to invest in our city, in our country. It brings us a lot of benefits, so I want to say that too. But Mr. Deputy Speaker, members of Parliament too, in the city too, you got some project where maybe MRDC working or Lenona working, which is not a good sort of a record. Especially in Formal, you may got this when I'm a casino. So I think, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to be fair to MD, CEO, and board, headed by the Chief Secretary, Mr. Pomalo, I think no decision belong MRDC, but maybe decision belong Lenonas yet. All go invest one them investors from Korea or so on. And the result is there for everybody to see. And I think that's the story of MRDC. You must start scrutinizing. Lenonas Yumi, they have a great opportunity to reinvest the earnings from minerals, oil and gas, but all not got experience, all not got the ability to really do good investment, and some of the investment has gone wrong. But you may blame him, Musad. Maybe you may blame him, MRDC. I'm no guide him all good. So we have this disaster of 4 Mile. What's going to happen to that investment there? How the landowners are going to recover their money that they've invested in that, at the time a very good project, or they thought it was a good project that turned out to be a disaster. And all this investment too, now you can look into, on the other hand, Prime Minister talk, investment in BSP, that's very positive. Investment in airlines PNG, investment in PIH, very good investment. But I think for me too, Mr. Deputy Speaker, members of Parliament, me thinking too of some investment like out there in Fiji, there's a Pearl Pacific. And me it been go before long 2013 with former Prime Minister Mr. Member for Yalibu Pangia. Now me no understanding logic of this investment because it's about 40 minutes away from Suva. When you are flying to Fiji, now you arrive when you're Suva, how are you going to? What will be the compelling reasons you by go get along? 40 minutes away. You've flown maybe 5 hours from PNG. Maybe so many hours from the US or Hawaii. So some of this investment on behalf of our people, you must scrutinize him. All board blame, MRDC, you must scrutinize him. The investment, you must make him good. The business is growing well, but maybe it could be much better. I'm not trying to blame the current management. I'm just speaking generally that, there are risks that are being taken. It must be subject to scrutiny. And board blame long, MRDC must scrutinize all this investment properly because maybe now Prime Minister talk, it's gone up to 14.5 billion worth of investment or assets or long MRDC. Maybe the potential could be more. So this is where Mr. Deputy Speaker and members of Parliament, me know I'm an accountant, me by subjecting this law, can scrutiny. This financial statement here, maybe your accountant, you've like got, forensic mind, you've like look in Maria, but me plus I'm trained lawyer, I have to look at, the law side or looking at, okay, what's the portfolio? Have they reported on this portfolio? Like, for example, it's a company that's primary role is to manage equity interest, royalty, development funds, local landowners, and provincial government. So 3 areas of me responsible for wealth management, commercial investment, development. Maybe there should be a report in these 3 areas to come. Maybe come the board finish, the body ammas, but it should come to Parliament too. So you can scrutinize him, so you can help him along. Supporting board or supporting management, so this company, which has a great opportunity to invest once in a lifetime or once in a generation benefits for people from minerals, oil and gas in real-time development that contributes to effort of government, effort of country, contribute to this generation and future generation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, members of Parliament, you must have these resources are, non-renewable. And by pennies here, minerals by pennies, gas by pennies, oil by pennies. Our people will still be here. So this is an opportunity where we must manage their funds well. And this brings me to perhaps a point where me like when I'm trying to conclude long and me talking me no wambla auditor. These are all statements about the Goikan. So how about you me plus have right or wrong? This could be a bigger potential or greater investment. So that's why it would be a bit more proper to make that type of statement about how the investment is going. These three broad areas that MRDC is responsible for. So you can scrutinize him properly. Landowners and provincial government, you play involved long and you can scrutinize him properly. And me plus some zero balance. Me play can look his stuff too, and we just beneficiary. Me play by just amass the sort of investment, but we are all equally responsible for our people. So we must all have a say. I think the point I want to say now in conclusion, perhaps, Mr. Deputy Speaker, members of Parliament, is that this MRDC, I'm also, it's like, how do you call it? Babysitter. Babysitter of Lenona Company. Yeah? So since 1975, I'm working in business now Roll Blogging has become a babysitter. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, members of Parliament, Prime Minister, when I'm time by babysitter and Pinista, all company below Yumia, petroleum resources Kotubu, Star Mountains, mineral resources, Go Bay, when I'm time by come up adult, Mechuana, Sanapla, Oliet, make the right decision for themselves. By emergency and by babysitter forever. Is that the equation? Or then we work it out properly so that you'll be babysitter forever. This is your role. This you play by staff unit long MRDC forever. But if you may behind him, natural progression of human being, you may parents babysitter you go na time you go 18 or 19. By me play initiate him, you come up man or marry now. Go and grow out and, face the world. So be it me, Scalimos and Prime Minister, at some point of time, you play line law cabinet, both two play Marilisi. You must finish the babysitting. Get our people, all the Lenona company, get the management of the world. Maybe they will grow and become bigger. And they will realize their potential more than now all babysitter staff and MRDC. Me like Mr. Deputy Speaker and members of Parliament. I think you may look long Lenona company. Me look at some online lawyer. They are testing that frontier. All no stop. You need long babysitter long babysitting long MRDC. They've decided to go out, and now they're investing in Australia. They're going to New Zealand. They're going to Europe. I think they're going to America too. Because they dare to get the best management around the world to come and partner them so that this once in a lifetime, Lear Gold by Penis, and Mylania, and by Penis, what are the future generation going to sustain themselves on? And this generation, Lenona's Lear, I think they are making the right decision. So when is Star Mountains going to stand up and be able to stand on its own? Or petroleum resources Kutubu, or petroleum resources Bobena, Holkata Narapla line. Meeting you may work limiting potential long, or Lenona company by babysitting forever. I think one point where me not talk out long into and me talk the last point, but Mr. David Speaker, with the indulgence the members of Parliament, me like to talk too long. You me talk the long Narapa when I'm here, all this funds long all public here. When I'm done by this Pacific Balance Fund, reporting of Parliament, you must scale me going. This Mr. Deputy Speaker, many all legally contributors during the colonial time. Now after colonial time, you may got this Insurance Corporation Fund, or PNG. Plenty of ordinary Papua New Guineans, teachers, or doctors, or policemen, police marine, kind line. All Investment Corporation Fund, or PNG. Then time lo Mekere, or when I'm time to late say Mekere, or I might be wrong. Minu can talk long end. They changed it to Pacific Balance Fund, corporatize it or whatever. And a lot of our ordinary people have missed out. They've missed out. They've lost their investment. Money go away. There's millions. And then management long end, only tight me go come, court go come, money go come. When is the report going to come to Parliament? Now you mean by scrutinizing too? Because some of them too are members, people living in the city, all Japanese, their children are still wondering what will happen to their investment. Or you mean solemn investment along all big companies only. So it's timely that Prime Minister, you come giving this report. Also me talking, me no accountant, so me by subjecting to kind forensic or one kind of audit. Me talk of generally that's all. But I believe it's timely that we bring all this report. Maybe Minister of State-owned Enterprise to bring himself a report of State-owned Enterprise to come now. You may scale him to. Only working profit or you may investing on no return on investment. And then we can make a hard decision, bite the bullet. Me talk all the PNG power go na. You play toto go kana blackout go come. You play no can complain lo me. Me no responsible for PNG power. Me talk finish some idea lo resolve him na. You play go long procrastinate ECC go come na. Anyway, Mr. Deputy Speaker, thank you very much. We contribute.
Provincial member for ECP.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Number one, hap talk me like talk and me talk. Thank you, lo Prime Minister. Also me too. Mr. 9 years lo disla Parliament. Na first report me looking me come long MRDC. So me bel heavy long talk long leader of government business where me praise him MRDC as a beacon of transparency and accountability. I must defer, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And first time, these reports are supposed to come here on an annual basis, not once, or in the case of listening to Governor Parkop, once in 20 years. So all the Narbla report, Narbla years, I'm stuck with. Not all by me looking long, 24 na, 23. This is woeful, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Walk blumibla opposition, and lo sindam lo here na talk out na talk straight. You know, all the time by me fighting bros all the time. This company is owned by our landowners, Mr. Speaker. And who is going to be in this house to speak on behalf of the landowners? And first report now we come to Parliament, yeah? No report been come before. So what's happened to all these other reports? No. So I'm number one talk me like talk. I think the Prime Minister's statement to the House is misleading, Mr. Deputy Speaker. For instance, walk belong private company. Emlo pay the go belong em. Now, as I look at this financial report, which you play give him, when I look at the statement of comprehensive income, this company made a loss of 22 million in 2024. Now, Prime Minister, you know, talk about this loss law. Talk law, people blow Papua New Guinea law here. Now, all get a member of Lamamas na, fight him hand na, clap na, sing out na, talk nice report. But it made a loss. It didn't pay a dividend to the landowners. And that's in 2024. So, narbla year, paying dividend long landowners or no got? I would have liked to see in the Prime Minister's report.
Honorable Governor, we have a point of order. Governor for Hela.
I just want to correct with due respect, this is the report. MRDC does not, it's a management company, does not pay dividend to landowners. Subsidiaries are the ones that hold assets and they pay dividends. So let's not mix up with MRDC report, a management company, plus subsidiaries, 22 subsidiaries that pay dividends. Just want to correct.
Honorable Governor, your point of order is noted. Honorable Member for Isipik.
Well, that's what we should have been informed, Mr. Speaker. We've been I'm speaking to your report, Mr. Prime Minister. This is your report. Page 4, yeah? Page 4, stop, yeah? 22 million net loss. Stop. And the other thing, Mr. Speaker, nowhere in this report does it state that there's 14 billion in assets. Net assets lo here long statement of financial position to 462 million. So if there are other reports that constitute a part of this report, by rights they should have been presented here on the floor. Only no present him on Narma report. Now only call him 15 billion lo here or 14 billion lo here. Now inside lo here long statement of financial position, net assets and 462 million. One kind of same net assets been stopped long 500 million long 2007. I'm still one kind lo now. So this is misleading. Suppose only like presenting all report lo this la full 14 billion, that should have been brought to the floor, Mr. Speaker. Report emikam lo here, emplo 462 million tasol statement. Stop inside lo. This la report we only give him lo here. And in qualifying, suppose you look go long statement long, accountant long all we put him lo backside page. The accountants themselves have said, and I read the accountant's own statement in their own letter, which is attached, where only talk them. There are other information, I missed up the last paragraph, where it is in connection with this report that they did not see, Mr. Speaker. I'm stop inside law here, Ernest and Young, law, letter law, law backside here. And I think it speaks to some of this other information which I believe was not presented today. Only present him half the all, only call him Narla number. So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker, me like point him out all this deficiencies namel, na differences namel, or statement, lo Prime Minister, na statement where stop inside lo, this la report where we have been given. They are different and they are contradictory. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Yalebu Pangia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, me too like contribute to this debate. Take note of statement of Prime Minister. MRDC one very important organization. You may go to Sawel, so we go pass la lugati more interest blow or landowners inside the country. Na me too me almost law work only working. Na report only presenting I'm showing also more management company report blow only working loss also governor blow ICP toto 22 million kina. Na time you may look further go inside. Also management company tasol. I assume that they are getting fees from the companies that they are managing on behalf of the landowners. Also revenue blow. If I look lo revenue projections, the revenue note blow list up lo note number 3, and we clearly show him also the revenue elixim lo total income blow lo 164 million kina lo one play year. Management fee am 28 million kina taso. Low income blow this law company. Na only totok lo revenue elixim lo Ramu Nicol am 117 million kina. Must mean also tamoli salem Nicol lo seb lo distribution income law, MRDC law, this let's say. So time you look at this plan, me looking at some big revenue come law Ramunico. Management fee tasol 28 million kina. Tasol Ramunico and buy must buy mogate expenses finish na salem net value blow money due law MRDC ko. So many know some law understanding blow me yet. MRDC does not carry any overhead to manage that particular investment. So all narabla overhead must come up lo MRDC blow management fee blow all landowner companies only managing land 28 million kinaya. But when you analyze the account further, lo there's 28 million kina only work hard lo making blow current revenue come MRDC. Salary level blow go over 25 million kinata so salary.
it goes to show that there are very highly paid people in there. Highly paid people to earn 28 million as revenue. So, efficiency of an organization is measured by how they control cost against revenue that they get. So, M1 Platintin also, Prime Minister also trustee. Management are clear him good. Only spending plenty of money to Maslow, look at him all yet. Law, you may complain law, this law, look at plenty issues, law, management and more landowners, that's all. I think within reason is reasonable expectation law. You may also state, say, law, MRDC. Now, second issue, law, me also, you got relationship with them plan the landowners. Now, some landowners are complain lo yumi. Lo some all grievances only managing all companies blow. The few landowners who are favored and who are, of course, getting the prominence in this management arrangement. But large bulk of the population of landowners given where it is their right. Looks away, so when you're looking at this sudden increase in 14.5 billion in valuation of some Prime Minister and management, MRDC work law, patin bros na totok land, you must not mislead him country in the parliament. And plenty law, there's like investment come law, resource development, you may got finish land. Like Oktedi, Kutubu, Hides, now Papua, PNG, LNG. Those companies are very valuable companies, worth into billions. Because management efficiency, MRDC, working now, there's a value go on top. So I think you must glass him, talk na, put him talk straight away. So people can understand that value of this company go on top here because resource development has gone up, revenue from all these companies have gone up, and the beneficiaries rightfully are the landowners. So you may must tell him all this total good na. You may out him go country na parliament. Issue of landowners, Mr. Deputy Speaker, meeting also there's like governance issue law. Look at him, interest of landowners must be very clearly defined. Where even minority interest groups in the landowner companies need to have an avenue where only can out him Bellevue blow. Plenty of law, they all shut down. Okay, let me give me some money to you shut up na sit down. I mean, good law, suppose only one bell na work that's all. Some tribes are minority tribes, so they have been marginalized. So, meeting was MRDC as a management company, got a fiduciary responsibility. Look at him, one interest law, all these landowner groups. So, the issue about accountability to the landowners and reporting to the landowners, and in particular the appointment of the directors of those landowner companies. Some of the time people are planning a story. Also, only meeting law, hanging up where all landowners cannot attend or are not able to be present to have their say or cast their votes. So meeting was trustee one time government must sit down good na talk. Meeting must happen law this time law display yeah. 1 year financial reports must be submitted. Now the landowner can go na. Rightful landowners can go na out in Tintin blow na, accept him report na beyond Karmigam law this parliament. So I think you must try to improve him law this side. Now second thing, Mr. Speaker, some appointment by directors is very important. Like any public company, the shareholders have the right to vote. They must vote to make sure that the director represents their interest in those particularly landowner companies that all landowners you own him like. Me think also this line will come up to us. Me play just bulldoze him some lap me play talk him right, some lap all no mas. Na plan the all landowners work logo on, give him kind of all department, all ministry, and ministers about to. Mean also all minister and department working work. Tasol ating mipla work law, behind him law, mipla deliberately avoid him. This la passing law, appointment process law, rightful away. Now, second thing is, Mr. Speaker, law investments. MRDC was a management company, work law animal investment, working investments on behalf of these landowner companies that they are managing for the landowners, and of course the directors of those companies. But unlike Nest Fund and Number One Super and Defense Force Retirement Fund, there is not a third party who is assessing those investments or proposals that they are putting forward to the directors. Some of the proposals, you miss out some government system too, you miss a karam natin a paper, na subim lo aiblo minister, na departmental head. Whether they will be of value to the landowner groups or not is another thing. So I think Prime Minister and the government should think about adopting the same process like Nest Fund and Number One Super, where there is an investment manager, independent investment manager, who will review the recommendations of the management company like MRDC. Now, talk also, yes, there is a good return on that investment, so we are recommending to the board that they should make the investments. Now, Governor Horace Parker just mentioned one example of that poor investment decision. The abandoned casino project in Baroko. And you may drive past go come every morning, you miss out, yeah? Now, I'm certain and very certain that there are many other investment decisions like that that are not being reported properly, that we are all unaware of. So, me urging government, the Prime Minister or some trustee, make sure you may appoint him independent investment manager, scrutinize him, assess him, all those investment proposals, so I go to all landowner companies. I think the same should apply to some law investments, law provincial governments too. You may provincial government, law district level too, you may say, okay, investment, nothing. Maybe assess them good, but these are public monies, Mr. Speaker. These are public monies. We are accountable to the public or the shareholder or the landowner. It is in their interest that we are making this investment. They have every right to know. Money blowly go low on a map. So me urge him also, me good law report, me amamas also, me MRDC working some good law work, but there's a lot to improve on. Some you may out to him also sing out na amamas natin na. You know looks how well all heavy stuff land. So plenty heavy stuff, plenty all work stuff you are outstanding yet, but me amamas also this report come to Parliament that you may scrutinize him this law. And we look forward to the report of 2025. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Thank you.
The Opposition Leader.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Just a short contribution to the debate. Mr. Deputy Speaker, just on record, I think this is the second time that the government has brought in financial statements on behalf of MRDC. We commend them for the efforts, and also asked, in light of some of the debate points, that the 2025 financial statements be brought in at the earliest. Mr. Deputy Speaker, as I look through the financial statements presented by our good Prime Minister, there is no component of the financial statements that says anything about the environment, social and governance, ESG. And this is this is compulsory in financial statements that are presented across the world, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and presenting that as a component of the financial statements, the audited financial statements for MRDC, would help this Honourable House ascertain how much of the monies managed by MRDC have translated into investments for the people in terms of their human capital development, and what's happening in their areas, Mr. Deputy Speaker. In some of these resource-rich provinces and towns and districts, there's hardly any development. So the Honourable House has to know, for the billions that these landowners, they have every right to benefit, how many of them have gone to the best schools globally? how many of them have become professionals as a result of this investment that is benefiting the nation? And this is something that MRDC has to take seriously and expand its reporting to cover ESG component. The world standard, Mr. Deputy Speaker, in terms of investment development for landowner funds into a sovereign wealth fund is Norway, where 35 years ago they uncovered the one and only natural resource, an oil well in the middle of the sea, and now they own the largest sovereign wealth fund worth over $2 trillion in the world. So that's the gold standard for investment performance. And I take note of the directors of MRDC who have, according to the Prime Minister and from reports, have effectively grown MRDC, Mr. Deputy Speaker, since its inception in 1975. However, more needs to be done, especially benefits to the landowners who own this resource. And there is my succinct contribution to the debate. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Governor, the question is that the question be put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Deputy Speaker, I move that the Parliament do now adjourn until tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Honourable members, I now adjourn Parliament to tomorrow 10 o'clock a.m.